Let's welcome back to the show. He's a member of the House GOP Big Tech Censorship Task Force. He's Congressman Kelly Armstrong. Congressman, it's good to have you back on. Okay, Google's YouTube took down videos featuring CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. They locked out the organization's account for a week, stopped CPAC from posting videos from the conference. I thought this was about diversity of opinion and thought. What do you say?
Listen, one of two things happened. They either used it as an excuse to shut out conservatives during the CPAC conference, or they legitimately blocked studies from the Smith Center for Infectious Disease and Urban Health and St. Barnabas Medical Center. I don't know particularly which one is worse, but I know this, that we need to deal with this because it's, I mean, if it doesn't fit the narrative of the FDA and the CDC, they're not allowing independent medical professionals to give opinions anymore. And that's a dangerous place to be outside of the conservative bias conversation.
Yeah, YouTube is saying that the action it took was because there was discussion of COVID treatments that are not accepted by the CDC and FDA, meaning hydroxychloroquine and the like. But you know, the videos also featured coverage of Donald Trump's class action lawsuit against big tech companies. That was censored. What do you say?
Well, I think, I mean, again, I mean, whether they were using this as an excuse or talking about actually, I mean, censoring the conversation about a medical train of thought from reputed places, either one of them is terrible, and neither one of them should have happened. And it just shows how much more market power they have, and they are literally going to this place. I mean, we saw this with the Wuhan virus and where it came out and where all of that has happened, and that's all changed now. And we need, the best cure for speech is always more speech, and more importantly, it's just, I mean, it's turning so many people against them and against what we need to do to get our country out of this pandemic.
You know, they're not public squares. People know that, right? They're not public squares. They like to sell themselves as a town square, but they're not. They are 2 or 3 big tech players that are dominating the national conversation. The Biden administration wants to break them up. Republicans say break them up too along different product lines. There's multiple different pieces of legislation moving in Congress. Which piece of legislation has legs that do you think will be successful in dealing with this issue?
I think a couple of the bills that are bipartisan out of the Antitrust Committee, the venue bill and the other fee bill, there's some good to like in a lot of them. There's some bad to like in them. I think Mike Lee's bill has a little bit of traction on the Senate side. There's other things we need to deal with geofence warrants, facial recognition. There was just a hearing in judiciary. There's a lot of different things. But I think, Liz, one of the things we have to do is, if you take the big 4 tech companies, they're probably 4 of the most powerful companies in the history of the world. But each one of them has different places in the market where they engage in anti-competitive behavior. So I think we really got to drill down into how they make their money, how they control data, how they control information, which is really why they're more powerful, and attack them in a way. Because we've seen this with GDPR in Europe, and what we don't want to do is regulate big companies and end up hurting small companies worse.
Got it. Representative Kelly Armstrong, thanks for joining us. Come back soon.
Thanks,
Up next, National